He's not a bat, he's a man who fights crime. And we're gonna watch him fight for a minute at a time. With John and Niall and a guest who doesn't rhyme. It's Bat Minute!
Hello, and welcome once again to Bat Minute Forever, the podcast where we analyze each minute of Joel Schumacher's 1995 Batman Forever movie, or we will for one last time. This is it. This is the final curtain on Batman Forever, and here to ring in these last 35 seconds, it's me, Niall McGowan.
And it's me, John Parker. This is the end, my batty friend.
Oh, it's appropriate. That is who played Jim Morrison? Val Kilmer. There you go. It's all tying in already.
I would like to pretend that was deliberate, but it was a complete accident. See, that's how connected all of this stuff is, that I don't even need to know I'm doing it anymore.
But yeah, as I said, this is not even the last minute. This is the last 35 seconds. But because it was over the halfway to a minute mark, we deemed it to be like, nah, that counts as its own episode.
Yeah,
so.
It felt like cheating if it was like 15 seconds or 10 seconds, we could have merged it in with the other one. Plus, It's nice to have a little send-off, just me and you. Yeah.
It's just, although the weird thing is like, look at the last couple of credits, because, this minute 122, it begins with the credit for the U.S. diver, and ends a little, like a minute, well, not even a minute, 35 seconds later for just black.
Well, it ends
blackness.
with the completion of our dive, you could say.
Yeah. Now we've dove so far, we can only go even deeper next year with Batman and Robin. But
there's no stopping us.
That's too far. That's like Ant-Man. When he shrinks down so small, it's like you can't come back from that. Like that's now you're
that's
gonna
us.
get the
We
quantum
can't come
realm
back.
stuff.
My sanity will never return.
Well, it's right around the corner. So, but yeah. So the last of the end of Batman Forever. This bizarre talking about quantum realms and stuff. This we started recording this season like before Halloween of 2019. Whoa. 2020 is on record as being the longest year that has ever existed.
The longest Halloween.
The longest Halloween. And yet, this still felt like this season flew by.
Yeah,
everything else seems like it's taken forever. But this has been like, oh no, that went by really quickly, that Batman Forever.
It feels like we've been doing it about 6 weeks or something. Yeah. It's kind of strange. In a good way, though. I've enjoyed every second of it. I enjoyed it a lot more than I thought.
Yeah, that's why I was so trepidatious about going like, oh, Batman and Robin around the corner, because I do not like that movie. Mm-hmm. But I like this movie, so this is like,
but you do like Batman and Robin in a so bad it's good way. One of our other fortes, something we haven't really delved too much into on the main show, talking about crap films.
But I mean, like I'm going to try, because whenever we'll start recording Batman and Robin in a couple of months' time. And in the meantime, like I've already started. I rewatched it a month or two back, and I'm gonna keep rewatching it every couple of weeks just to be like, okay, let's get psyched up. Let's get ready to do this. Because the other three, I've been just like, I could drop into that anytime. Like I just know those like the back of my hand. But Batman and Robin's like, no, I need to get in. I need to get myself prepped to take that dive.
Mentally prepared.
But that's the thing. I don't know if you have many notes, John, on like actual credits, because I don't. I've got all my notes for this minute or this 35 seconds are all just things that like general information about the aftermath of Batman or Batman Forever, and just like a couple of things we didn't mention throughout the season of like, oh, we might as well bring that up because it's relevant.
I've got a couple of things, little things, mostly to do with because we briefly see the soundtrack come up again, the soundtrack album on Atlantic CDs and cassettes. So I did a little bit about that, but not loads.
By all means, go right ahead, because like, even once I was looking into like U.S. Diver, the last credit before we get to the soundtrack stuff is like, U.S. Diver, Dennis or David Stansel. You look him up, it's like he was in Batman Forever. You're like, that's it.
That's all he's ever done.
And then even like something like the orchestration is done by Jonathan Sheffer. It's like, the guy who conducted, like Ellie and Goldthal obviously wrote the score. Jonathan Sheffer conducted it. And it's like, that name sounds familiar. Oh, we covered him last year because he did it for Batman Returns as well. So it's like, all right, so don't need to look into that guy. that's that done.
Oh, well, the thing I saw was that only 5 of the songs on the soundtrack are actually in the film. Which is that's unbelievable to me. Like,
are you counting end credits or just before end credits?
Oh no, that's counted. That's counted as well. So there are 2 of them. That's ridiculous, isn't it? It's absolutely crazy. 5 out of a whole album.
Yeah.
And
it's still, we mentioned it in the season, but it's still baffling. It's like, you knew the ones that were going to be the singles. Why not put them in the film and then save your friggin' Offspring songs and like that and Brandy and stuff for the end credits? Like, why not have, again, Robin driving the Batmobile? There you go. You too. Put it in that scene right there. It's like, no, we gotta put. There's
a million times you could have put music in the background of scenes.
Yeah,
I have no problem with that. That's cool. Do that. But they decided not to. And the choices, I mean, we've mentioned a lot of them, but according to producer Peter McGregor Scott, that in his words, the song choices of Flaming Lips, Brandy, The Offspring, Method Man, Nick Cave, Michael Hutchence, PJ Harvey, and Massive Attack was an attempt to make the film more pop. And I'm like, hang on, most of them aren't pop, really.
That's the light-hearted poppy stylings of Nick Cave.
Exactly. Like, I mean, okay, Brandy.
Yeah.
But even, I mean, Method Man, I wouldn't even call it, he's popular, but it's quite, hardcore rap, isn't it?
It just strikes me as a guy, like, his son was into these things, and he's like, I think that's what the kids are listening to. Like, that's the big thing these days, right? It's like, no Offspring and stuff. They're big, but they ain't like, 1995 is when, I don't know, friggin' like Aqua and stuff were hitting the top of the charts. Take that. It was the era of the Spice Girls and boy bands and stuff.
Well, unless America was different. I mean, I suppose maybe the Offspring were bigger there before they were here. That would make sense, wouldn't it?
Potentially, yeah.
And it was a really successful album because it sold almost as much as Prince's.
Yeah,
89.
It's crazy that that's not brought up more, because everyone talks about the Prince soundtrack. It's like, well, there's this thing. Like, it's such a baffling collection of songs.
And then it's like, it was almost at all.
Yeah, but it was like, it's almost as successful, but no one remembers it.
Because it's not as ambitious or interesting. It's just a random collection of songs, isn't it? Whereas Prince put the work in. Like, that is an album.
Now I'm wondering, though, with the Batman that's coming, you got that trailer that had Nirvana playing over it. I was like, I wonder, like, was Matt Reeves considered approaching anyone for like a soundtrack tie-in?
Who would you get now?
You could just go and get Nick Cave, like, just have him do the whole thing. Like,
it would suit the tone.
Oh God, yeah.
Oh wait, no, perfectly. You've got to get Robert Smith, right?
I don't know though, because the Cure can be quite. They can be quite poppy. They can be
but they run the gamut. That's the thing. They can be dark and mysterious and deep, and then they can also be fun and light and poppy, like, which surely encompasses all of Batman. But it's at the same time too obvious.
Yeah, it's gonna have to be like the resurrect Kurt Cobain to come back to do this one.
that would work.
Or Tom Waits' Batman score. It's like, it's on the tip. It's on the tip.
Oh my God, I want to hear that. Well, a couple of other little notes I made. It was the Brandy song I didn't realize was written by Lenny Kravitz.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, which I don't know if you brought that up and I've just forgotten, but that, I was like, what?
Yeah.
And Method Man's one, being called The Riddler, has some amazing lyrics. He starts with, one of the first ones I wrote down was, "Now you are playing with power," which I thought is a Nintendo Power Glove reference.
Oh, yeah. That's what I would immediately go to Freddy Krueger.
Because that was the ad, wasn't it?
Yeah, but I always think of like Nightmare on Elm Street 6, where it's just like Freddy Krueger is playing the kid in the computer game, and then he's like, "Now we're playing with power."
Oh, that is one of the best bits. It's kind of the stupidest bit in that series, where you should hate that, but it's so funny you don't mind. You're like, whatever, this is great.
Well, that whole film's just like, okay. I guess as soon as friggin' Roseanne and Tom Arnold show up, you're like, oh,
this is what we're doing now.
Okay. This is the tone. Okay.
Hey, at least it doesn't deceive you.
Yeah. At least then they did the friggin' reboot with Jackie Earle Haley. They went too far in the other way. They were just like, what if he was a flat out pedophile? And just like, and there's a bit where he has like Nancy on a bed and he's going on about like, I used to love that dress and all this sort of thing. Like, and he's properly like, oh,
too much, man.
Yeah, you're implying that he abused her as well. Like, he's already done it to all of them. It's like, yeah, this is. Bring back the Nintendo Power Glove, okay? bring back Tom Arnold. Just get them all back in, all right?
Get Method Man in the Power Glove. And yeah. I wrote down a couple of other lines I really liked, because these ones, it's baffling to me. I love them, right? But this does not sum up the Riddler in any way whatsoever. But okay. It goes, talking suicide, not a problem. If you're speaking homicide, not a problem. You want to talk genocide, not a problem. It's the Riddler. the Riddler doesn't really... homicide, maybe? Certainly not genocide or suicide. He pretends someone committed suicide, I suppose.
I guess maybe you could argue that was the thinking. It's like, well, he did fake that one guy's suicide. And
genocide?
That was the one guy he killed, I guess. But maybe he wiped out he was the last of the Stickleys, was Fred Stickley. So that counts as been like, oh no, yeah, genocide of the Stickley dynasty.
He clearly just sat there like, I need to get something that rhymes with. I've used suicide and homicide. What else can I do?
Gonna go out and buy me some barbicide. Nah.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Don't even eat my burger with the side.
The official lyrics after "It's the Riddler" do have written down, which I cannot imagine the Riddler. Why is the Riddler's theme song done by a rapper? The Riddler's not cool. Well, no. I mean, he's cool in a different way.
Like they should have. Well, when they had the Flaming Lips doing Edward Nygma. Like, there you go. That was perfect. It was like, he seems like he'd be in a weird art rock kind of people. Yeah, that makes total sense. And then maybe it's supposed to be a transition. They were thinking like, when he turns into the Riddler, he'll be a completely different kind of character. So we'll get a completely different kind of music. And then they didn't realize that, oh no, Jim Carrey's just playing it the same way. Like, it's just going to be, he just doesn't have his glasses on anymore. Like that's the only difference.
That's it. It changes his hairdo sometimes.
That's still one of my biggest gripes of the movie, because I just had to think about like, ending thoughts of Batman Forever, and it wasn't so much like, we've complained about that like ad nauseum throughout the whole season, but it's just like even things like they never capitalize on him growing in intelligence. Like, in a way that you could just show people. Like, the rule of a film is to like show, not tell. And they tell you he's getting more intelligent, but they never show you that he's getting more intelligent. And it's like, shouldn't he be doing the thing like where Homer gets the vocabulary tape?
Oh, I love that.
He accidentally keeps coming out with bigger and bigger words. Like, shouldn't the Riddler be coming out with like more and more, like becoming more effete and pontificating more and making everything he says more needlessly complicated and stuff? And like, even when it gets to the point where Two-Face is going to shoot Bruce Wayne, and we had the whole thing in the episode was a bit confusing. It's like, oh, if you kill him, you won't learn nothing. And then at the end of it, it's just like, well, that was all a bit stupid. Edward, like, what would if you just had him going like, no, don't kill him? That would be like a troglodytic, simian, primitive methodology. Like, I would prefer to take him out intellectually. Like, have him say like, I don't want you to just shoot him in the face. I want to test his mettle with his mind. And all that. There you go. That's done for you right there. But they're like, nah.
Can't be bothered with that. It's confusing. People can't wrap their heads around a change.
Well, they could have just turned him into Method Man. Just have it.
Oh, yes. I mean, Method Man's an actor as well, isn't he?
I assume so.
Pretty much every rapper is.
Like, yeah, all those 90s rappers, it's like they're all in some cop show now, I think, as far as I'm aware. Like,
or they were in early 2000s comedy movies about getting stoned. See How High.
Or
Friday.
Like reboots of horror franchises. It's like LL Cool J and Busta Rhymes can do Halloween, apparently.
Why not?
And God, I don't think there was any in Freddy vs. Jason, but that would have been a prime spot for freaking Method Man.
Perfect, yeah.
Him showing up there, like, holy crap, there's two of them. So there you go.
Isn't there a rapper in, like, Seed of Chucky or something as well?
Oh, yeah, the Redman, I think.
Yeah, Redman.
Yeah, that's right, yeah. So remember, he's just playing himself, and, like, Jennifer Tilly is playing herself, and she's trying to seduce him to get a part in his movie and stuff.
Well, you know, if Jennifer Tilly tries to seduce you, ooh.
And then
I'm falling for the charms.
John Waters is in that. And Hannah from S Club 7 is Jennifer Tilly's agent, and she gets, like, burned alive. And, like, I remember at the time watching it, it's like, this movie is, in theory, terrible. But, like, look at all this crazy shit that's happening. This is amazing that this got made.
It's another one of those. Yeah, it should be awful. But somehow it gets away with it. I don't know. It's genius. I don't think I've really got any other notes. My last note here is just that the wonderful sounds of Seal fade, and then we're out. But Batman Forever is now forever. It's in the books.
Yeah. Don't know, because we did bring up Seal a little bit last minute, but mostly about the song. I just said, like, some stuff on his general bio is that Seal was born Henry Oluskian Adeloa Samuel. So
he's not a Henry. Sorry.
No, that's one of those things. Yeah, and I can't find why he's called Seal. Like, it seems to have been, like, vanished from the internet, unless it was like us, it's really dull, and it's like, yeah, he sticks to things like Ron Seal varnish, so people called him Ron Seal for a while.
No, it's because he has a romantic abnormality.
You see. Hey, no, hey, boss, I just had a big plate of ding-gagagoo. But, he joined a band called Push in 1987, which was a funk band, and then he toured Japan with them. Then he joined another group in Thailand, and then he just decided to leave them, went just traveling around India by himself.
He was really doing the Asian circuit then.
Yeah, it just seems to be too. Like, he was just like, he was an architecture graduate. He was just a guy who wanted to be an architect, and then he just bummed around for a while. Then his friend, someone called Julian Bunster, told him, "You can sing better than most singers I know." And so, then he gets together with Adamansky. And Adamansky's, he had that hit single Killer, which I didn't think, I don't recognize that. But then as soon as I heard it, I was like, oh, I know that song. Dun, 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 dun.
It's amazing. I really love it. And I think Seal's a good singer and stuff. But on that, like, he should have stuck to that sound for me. I would have bought everything that sounds like that.
But after that, then, like, he just kind of hooks up. He releases the first album. It's called Seal. And then the big single out of that was Crazy. And it's one of those ones looking back, because, like, Seal's one of those guys, you see him with a full head of hair in some of those early videos, and it's like, this isn't right.
Well, on Killer, he's got, like, amazing hair.
Yeah, but it doesn't sit with me. Like, I think it's like, he suits being bald too well. And as a guy who, like, reluctantly went bald, I'm like, Seal should be bald forever. Like, that's, I think he knows it too. I think he has, like, a friggin' rigid, firm head of hair under there. But he's just like, no, I'm not. Look, this save me a fortune just shaving this head.
And he feels good. He's representing the bald community.
Yeah, 100%. But yeah, that was all, the basic background information on Seal. If anyone wanted it, that's where he comes from.
Yeah. And well, if you haven't heard Killer, you're really missing out. Go listen to that, everyone.
Oh, it's posted in the group, I guess. Mm-hmm. Well, so it did. I said a couple of things that we just didn't bring up through the season. Just little minor notes that I was like, I might as well bring that up now before we go. For example, people have been getting on to me within various face group chats. That we have never mentioned Matthew Lesko, who apparently is a guy who's quite famous in America for a series of infomercials where he's wearing a suit covered in question marks. And he's been going since the mid-'80s. So he would have been around when this came out. I'm surprised there's not much more Riddler crossover with the guy. Like, basic info I got on him is he's an American author known for publications and infomercials on federal grant funding. He's written over 20 books instructing people how to get money from the United States government. So basically, he's there to tell you how, like, you can save money, and you can, if you just rearrange your finances, you're eligible for all these grants and all this kind of stuff. And he just he shows up. He's got a whole big series of like multicolored kind of zany suits, and they're all covered in question marks and stuff. I was like, okay, that's I don't know, because we don't know him over here. If we had brought him up during the season, it would have been just like, this guy does this. Like, I could have made some joke about, like, maybe he was using the box to get people's financial details out of them, and then he would come around their house and be like, if you just claim this, and you claim that you're both a single person, you'll be eligible for all these different grants right here and stuff.
We're on to him after all these years. He thought he was getting away with it. We've uncovered the scheme.
So it would almost be more of a sinister plot, because the Riddler's is just like, oh yeah, he's got information that he's gonna do something with, but at least then Bruce Wayne was like, this guy's scamming he's scamming the government, I guess, because it's like, well, they're giving out money to this, that, and every, but then it's like, is that even really a big? Because I don't know, when it's government money, you just feel like, it's fine.
Nobody cares.
But yeah, so that was so Matthew Lesko. Don't know much more about the guy, but apparently wears question marks on his suit.
Well, I mean, we're already a fan then, just for that.
He does have a very cool sense of style. I saw him, I was like, I like the look of this guy. Although ironically enough, he did look quite cheap. Like, he looked like he would be like, you buy one, you get one free. Like, that would be the level of his infomercial, would be like that. Just
I like your obscure reference to a very old English advert there.
That's still going at it, I think, though.
No, it can't be right. I don't know. I haven't watched the TV, as in live TV with adverts, in about 10 years.
I only ever do when I'm back at my dad's, and I'm fairly certain that guy still pops up. And they've not updated the ad. It's just like, no, it's the same one. It's the same one from the mid-90s. It's just like, well, the offer still stands. You buy one, you get one free.
Well, yeah, why change a good thing?
But other little tidbits include just little things like we mentioned way back that they had a different sculpt of the Panther suit that was designed for Michael Keaton. That you can still get, pictures of quite commonly online. It's a really cool picture, but it's like, it must have been like as soon as they went into production, they're like, okay, Michael Keaton will be coming back. Let's model a new suit for him. And it's kind of Geiger-y looking. There's a little more kind of a biomechanical vibe to it.
Ooh,
and it's all in gray. And it's like, I'm assuming they would have painted it black, but it looks pretty cool. It's just gray as well. But that same sculpt was then later used for the sonar sensor toy for Batman Forever. So if you thought they just chucked that out, it's like, no, you get this one toy they made for it. That's the thing. They got that from doing the suit for Michael Keaton, and just went, I guess we'll reappropriate that. No point letting that go to waste. So just throwing that into the toy world there. Also, there's little things like very famous poster for Batman Forever with all of them lined up. Jim Carrey doing weird things with his hands. Tommy Jones is groping his own man boobs for some reason.
Why not?
And in the background, you'll see Batman, of course, looking a bit like the animated series, where he had, the sort of kind of inside profile with a cape up. A bit Ed Wood almost as well, actually. But notable in that is that, that poster was friggin' everywhere. But if you're looking at it, you might notice that he's wearing the Panther suit cowl, but he's got the sonar suit glove on. So they obviously just cut and pasted the two, because I guess they thought like the Panther suit gauntlet didn't look right, so they're like, have him wear this glove and do it that way.
Oh, okay.
So like, yeah, that's just, some people, like, I didn't personally know that. I've seen people talk about it, and it's like, oh, I guess they did do that. You got Mickey Dolenz apparently wanted to be the Riddler. He was one of the people in contention. I'd say he probably wasn't in contention. I'd say he probably wanted to be the Riddler.
That's what it is, yeah. Spread the rumor.
That's such a baffling thing, too, because like the monkeys are long done by 1995. So that's like like Rick Astley coming and asking to play the Riddler now.
Oh, I don't know, actually. Rick Astley probably would stand a chance because of the memes.
Well, maybe. Because I was trying to think of, like, I guess it kind of happened again with Luke Goss, the bad guy in friggin' Blade and Hellboy and stuff. But
it does baffle me that he's an actor. And when you saw that documentary about do Americans know Bros? He was in the pop group Bros. And there's a documentary about 2 years ago, was it 1 year, 2 years ago, about the two of them getting back together after all these years. And they do not get on. And he seemingly does not want to be part of a pop group anymore, really, but he's doing it for the fans. Like, okay.
It's one of those ones that it's so Spinal Tap-ish that you would think they were making it up. Like, it's so, like, there's no way this is all taking the piss, right? This can't be genuine. But apparently it is.
It's real, baby.
But yeah, so Mickey Dolenz is the Riddler. I mean, I get it, because it's like, well, 60s. The Monkees was a 60s TV show. Batman was a 60s TV show. You want to hark back to the 60s, you get Mickey Dolenz in. But and also you had, like, Jack Nicholson wrote the Monkees movie for them, Head. So
Wait. He wrote it?
Yeah.
We probably talked about this in season 1, but that's been years, people.
Yeah, that was before he was famous. Jack Nicholson wrote the movie Head was written by Jack Nicholson, and he just approached the Monkees. It was just like, here you go, fellas. And they're like, I remember one time seeing like a made-for-TV Monkees biopic, and they had a guy playing Jack Nicholson in it for like one scene, but it was just this guy coming in with the shades on and the really arched eyebrows. He's just probably like, nice to meet you, fellas. You're just like, I get it, it's Jack. Hey. Other little things would just be like the French dub of the Riddler in France. He's called Le Sphinx there. They got the same guy. Le Sphinx, yeah. Which is actually a pretty cool name as well, like Le Sphinx.
I don't think it fits him, though.
I guess, but he's in the spandex, though. But maybe I'm thinking of the S and the X been so close to SPX as well. So I'm like, spandex, Sphinx, Le Sphinx. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
But they got the same guy who did him in... they usually have a standard guy. I think they do this for most big actors. But like usually there would be a guy who would play Jim Carrey in France, who would do it every single time. But for the release of Batman Forever, they got the guy who did the Riddler in the Batman animated series dub in France to do his voice, which is quite strange because the Riddler in the animated series is nothing like the Jim Carrey Riddler. He's so much more refined and laid back. And, well, not even so much laid back as just sort of not wacky. Like, he's a very straight character.
Well, he's meant to be super intelligent. Why would a super intelligent person be as absolutely off the wall as this?
And yeah, I guess one of the big final ones would be Val Kilmer keeps telling the story is that the day he found he was going to play Batman, when they got the word to him, he was actually out doing some pre-production work for The Ghost in the Darkness, which is set in Africa. And he says he was in a giant bat cave. When they told him the news, they're like, "Oh, you're gonna play Batman," and he's like, "Oh, this is amazing! Look, I'm in a bat cave already." So, as if this was like meant to be. It's like you're gonna be the most forgotten Batman, Val. If it was some sort of divine presence that was making this happen. It turned out a bit disappointing for everyone, quite frankly. But yeah, I think that's all the things I meant to mention. If not, I guess I'll bring them up again. But just got some stuff on the basic aftermath of Batman Forever. How this baby did when it came out.
Ooh, I'm excited about this because I remember it was huge, absolutely massive. But, I was the perfect audience for it. So my view might be skewed. Maybe there were a lot of people at the time who reacted badly. I don't know.
So here we go. Like, to put it in perspective, okay, so 1989 Batman, when that came out internationally, that grossed $411 million. Batman Returns came out, and internationally it grossed $282 million. So you can see there's a steep decline. Like, it's not a bad box office haul, but that's like almost half of it's gone. Where the hell did it go? So
they consider any decline bad, don't they? Which is stupid, really.
Oh yeah. But then Batman Forever comes out and grosses worldwide 336. So they're back up. Not quite as successful as 89, but still on the increase. And that was, international gross. Domestically, it grossed 184 million. Although, weirdly enough, it was the highest grossing film of 1995 domestically in the US. But worldwide, it was only number 5. And I got the list of the other movies internationally that were around it. So the number 1 movie in the world in 1995 was Die Hard with a Vengeance, which is fair enough. It's like,
yeah, that's a good one.
I actually, in more recent times now, I'm beginning to think I'm thinking Die Hard with a Vengeance might actually be. It's not as good as the first one. It might actually be better than the first one in some ways. But
I would agree that it might be on a par.
It's definitely on par. Although you've me and John are involved in a Movies by Minutes Facebook chat that I know John has long since muted.
I muted that day one. Everybody listening, I know a lot of you are in it. I muted it. It's too much.
But there was a long period there for a while where people were really into Die Hard with a Vengeance, and then me and Dave Palace were sending voice clips of just us doing Simon and different lines from the movie back and forth. It was I had a great time doing it. It was fantastic. It's a simple Simon to the pieman going to the fair. Give me your pies. All right, kids, you're hitting. It's great. I love doing all that. And that is, again, too, that's the third movie in a massively successful franchise where the main villain is obsessed with riddles. What was it? What was going on in 95? Where they were that was such a big thing.
Riddle phobia was running wild.
Yeah. But although I was kind of shocked at the same, because that's an 18 certificate movie. Die Hard. That's a firm adult film. I know kids watched it. I watched it when I was a kid.
I watched it all the time. Yeah.
But I didn't go to the cinema for it. It wouldn't have got in. So
I think I recorded it off the TV.
Oh, yeah. I think it was premiered on BBC One in 1996 or something that would have got that. But yeah, so for an adult movie to be because nowadays it would be whatever the biggest movie is, it's probably going to be a family film. And number 2 would reflect that. Number 2 biggest film in 95 was Toy Story.
Oh, okay. Yeah, fair enough again.
Yeah,
I'm surprised that wasn't number 1.
Yeah, that's one of those ones too where you're yeah, it's fair. It's just yeah. Because as much as now we've done a whole movie about a whole season of a show about Batman Forever, I'm yeah, both of those are better films than Batman Forever, quite frankly.
Yeah, I would argue they are. I think most people would agree, right?
Number 3, GoldenEye.
Oh, another one I love.
Number 4, Pocahontas.
Okay, I only just a month ago watched that for the first time. Never seen it, and I loved it. It was great.
And number 5, of course, was Batman Forever. Number 6, Apollo 13.
Oh, gee, these are all amazing. What was happening this year? Oh my God.
You never realize how many good things come out in a year until you look back at them sometimes. That was all that same year? Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of that.
Number 7 was a bit of a shocker to me because I just didn't think it would be that big a movie. But number 7, appropriately enough, was 7.
Oh, okay.
David Fincher's 7, which of course you see that friggin' Batman trailer. It came out the other day. Just looks Batman's in 7 now. It's even as if they've gone for they've got a person of color playing Police Commissioner Gordon, as if they want to make him Morgan Freeman.
Yeah.
So Batman can be Brad Pitt.
Oh, he looked cool as Gordon though.
Oh, he looks great. Just looks perfect. That'd be great though. At the end, just friggin' the Riddler sends out a box and it's got friggin' Andy Serkis's head in it or something.
he refuses to look in,
or he sends out friggin' the pearl necklace or something. Another thing too, because people are going "Oh, it's so clever," and I'll put this up in the group too to prove that I did it. But people are going on "Oh, the end of that trailer for 2020 or 2021." They've got question marks as the 2s. And people are that's really clever. And it's I've been doing that in my notes the whole damn season. Nobody was saying to me it was clever. They're just saying it was sad. But no, I green ink for every title. And every time I could make a question mark, I did. And let me tell you, there was a lot of 9s converted into question marks. There was a lot of 7s.
Well, I think this podcast is owed some money.
That's I had Matt Reeves stealing my notes. Just going, I could do it.
Matt Reeves, we're not unreasonable. We'll come to a settlement off mic. That's fine.
Also, the things we didn't mention back, because now everything is getting quite close up to the time of airing, because this is literally like we still got like another week until this comes out, but when we recorded a little reaction post our long Halloween vid about the Batman trailer, people who listen to Patreon will have heard that. One thing we didn't mention, because at the time I didn't know, because that particular issue was so heavily focused on Sal Maroni. In the trailer for the Batman, one of the headlines up in the newspaper, that when Gordon's in investigating that very 7-ish looking apartment, is Maroni drug bust. So I'm guessing either Maroni has Two-Face has already happened in this world, or they're indicating that they're establishing Sal Maroni as a presence already. So
when it happens later, maybe.
Yeah. I was just gonna say I would prefer if it just happened already, because it's like we saw. Like I love a good Harvey Dent origin story. Like we've been covering one in the Patreon for like a year. We've
seen it though, haven't we?
Yeah, because we just did it in The Dark Knight. It was only 13 years ago or whatever.
Oh god, it seems like about 4. So
yeah. So then they come in and it's like, oh, Harvey Dent, hint. And it's like, I know. Just like there's plenty of other things you can do with Two-Face. Like don't do this Batman Forever again. But like you can have him as a presence and just have something else going on with him, But,
yeah.
But yeah,
I was mostly baffled because I said to Law when we were watching the trailer, like oh, that fat guy there kind of looks like the Penguin. And then I found out who it was.
Oh yeah, that's but the guy in the rain and stuff. That actually is the Penguin apparently.
Yeah, and do you know who's playing him?
Oh, yeah, Colin Farrell. Yeah,
I know. I was like, what? No. I looked at it again. I was like, I don't see it. I don't see it. I don't see it. I don't know if it's prosthetics or has he put weight on or is it a fat suit? I don't know. It's baffling.
I think it's just all makeup. Like it's a really good job because like when you look at it, you're like, it's almost too good a job because it's just like, oh, that just looks like the Penguin. Like that literally looks like the way he's supposed to look. That's. Although a lot of people are saying he looks like Richard Kind, the guy from Spin City, who's Larry's cousin in Curb. Yeah. And it's like, people are like, why didn't you just get Richard Kind to play the Penguin? It's like, you want that guy to play the Penguin?
Well, he might be able to do it. I'd watch it.
Like, what are you making for dinner there, Leia? Oh, we're having a turkey. Nah, I had turkey for lunch. That's okay. I got my own thing.
He is a brilliant actor. I love
him. But that's the thing. I remember in the early days too, there was a lot of behind the set pics where people are saying like, "Oh, the Penguin. There's this guy here, this blurry out of focus guy with the umbrella. That's the Penguin." And he had like silver hair, and he looked like really distinguished. Like, oh,
I remember seeing that. Yeah,
it looked like they've gone a different direction. But apparently, that wasn't the Penguin. It could be friggin' Alfred for all we know now, I guess. But
yeah, because you don't see Alfred, do you? You hear him, I assume.
No, don't we? Yeah, I think he just says like, "Oh, you've become quite a celebrity," and
I'm guessing that's Alfred.
Oh yeah, it's definitely Andy Serkis. I recognize that voice anywhere.
Ah, there you go.
Oh yeah, but so anyway, so back to the list. Just number 8 was Casper, which is like
that was big. Yeah,
it's big. It's like top 10 internationally. Casper, okay, it's not
You're
very
forgetting
good.
how much they were really pushing that movie to kids.
So it wasn't a good movie though.
No, at the time I liked it because again I was the target audience, I guess.
I don't think I did like it at the time. I remember as a kid being very like, It did that. It was trying too hard to be zany and trying too hard to pander to children for me.
Yes,
I remember a lot of those clips of like the 3 uncle ghosts and doing little bits like popping out and going like smellagram, and then he like burps in his face. And then there's like Bill Pullman sucking the fat one into a Hoover and it going like, this sucks. And it was really like, you can see the parents, the parents watching as the children going, oh, my child will love this. And you're like, the kids sitting been like, no, this looks awful. But yeah, so I did not care for Casper when it came out.
It was very, very big. I remember because I went to a, as we have here in England, listeners, I went to a bonfire night fireworks display themed on Casper when it came out.
Oh, well, I thought you were like recently. I was like, what?
No, when it came out.
Okay, that's fair enough. That's fair. How did they theme it on Casper?
I genuinely can't remember. I think they just had music from the movie and
it's like,
I don't know. There were like Casper like balloons you could buy and things like this.
That seems too, because considering it's so much of that would involve white sheets for ghosts is like, that's the worst thing to have at the bonfire, because it's like
don't go near the flames.
Yeah, I've done that in the past, where it's just like, not even if you stand a while away, soot will get everywhere. Ash will be all over those sheets. Like, if you're anywhere in the vicinity of that bonfire, it's like all you're asking for is a day's wash the next day. Like,
that's part of the fun.
Number 9, Waterworld. So that's one of those things though. Like, hey, we came number 9 internationally. It's like, still a flop, Kevin. Like, you spent way too much to make it, so you did not make money on this movie.
Yeah, one of the most expensive films ever made, and you're below Casper.
If Christina Ricci still rubs that in every time she sees Costner. That's like the VMAs and the Oscars and stuff.
She just wears a little badge that says number 9 whenever she knows she's going to see him. Taps it.
And she was just like, every time he's just like, it was a terrible movie. She's like, I know it was terrible, but it was better than Waterworld, wasn't it?
One better.
Number 10 was Jumanji, which is...
I assumed that would be higher.
Yeah, actually, because Jumanji does now, in retrospect, because it's a better movie than Casper, I'd say.
Yeah.
It does feel like it should have been higher up in the list. But but then the Jumanji, though, one of the few ones I'd say, that's not a remake they've made. Like, it's just sort of a completely different thing, but they've just called it Jumanji. I'd say better than the original Jumanji.
Oh, I still haven't seen it. I've got it there ready to watch.
It's pretty good. It's a very, very an enjoyable romp. It's a real, like, this, you got a lazy Saturday afternoon, and, like, you want to watch, like, stick on a movie while you have your Saturday treat. Like, say on a Saturday you make yourself like a nice cheeseburger and a Coke or something. Like, and then you want to put on something a little bit trashy. Jumanji. There you go. That's
the vibe I got from it. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's definitely worth watching. The sequel's pretty decent as well. So, but yeah, that was all the box office details. And now, critically, nowadays, Batman Forever stands at having 5.4 out of 10 on IMDb, which is like, that's low. Come on. Like,
I think it's too low, but I'm sure there's loads of big movies that are way lower than you think on there. And I think it's just people being annoying. Like, I've seen multiple people go to, like, Star Wars 1. It's like, no, come on. Even if you're not a fan, it's not a 1 star.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're just doing that to be awkward.
But even worse than that, then you go to Rotten Tomatoes, 39% from the critics and 32% from the audience. So it's like, it's better than that. Come on.
I think if you're being harsh on it, you shouldn't really be going under 5 stars, though. And that's if you're being really picky. I mean, I would go higher. I'd be hovering around the 7.
Yeah, I would say it's at least a 6.5 for me.
Yeah.
Like, we've had a lot of criticisms. People listen to the show. I've probably heard them. But it's still fun. It's still a good movie. It's still very well made for what
I enjoy watching it.
Yeah, so it's like that's way, way harsh. And again, a lot of the critics at the time were like, it was got pretty good reviews. A lot of them were just like, yeah, it's fun. It's a fun movie. But then the biggest one, I guess, would be from Roger Ebert. And I got like his little quote on it here is, I like the look of the movie and Schumacher's general irreverence towards the material. But the great Batman movie still remains to be made. Here's the most complex and intriguing of classic comic superheroes inhabiting the most visually interesting world, but somehow a story hasn't been found to do him justice. And Roger, don't you worry, because right around the corner, Joel Schumacher is working on the Batman story to end all Batman stories.
Oh, for better or worse. I fully agree with that criticism, though. I think that's fair. It's a great looking film.
I think he's been a bit harsh too. Like, not so much on Batman Forever. That's fair enough for that. But he's saying he doesn't think the other two are very good either. Like, he's kind of saying like, that's
yeah.
It's
but he obviously likes the character. He's not just doing it like, oh, it's a comic book movie. It's a load of rubbish. He obviously wants to see maybe something that you get with The Dark Knight. Yeah.
I guess that would be, it would take them a further 13 years actually after Batman Forever to well, even 10 years after for Batman Begins.
And was he still alive when that one came out?
I think he died.
He was
early 2010, so he would have. I guess he would have seen. I wonder actually just quickly Google.
Yeah, let's see if he liked that. Because I think if he was alive and he saw it, I think that's the one he wanted.
It's just like not as good as Batman Forever. Like, come on, Roger, what the?
Make sure it's actually him, by the way, because his website has other people doing reviews as well.
Yeah. Oh no, this is by Roger Ebert, July 16th, 2008. No joke, Batman. 4 stars out of 5. Yeah, I guess he really liked The Dark Knight. So
yeah, that's the vibe I was getting. He likes that kind of Batman, which, if that's your bag, I suppose up until this point you have not had it.
That's fair enough then, I guess. But I guess 'cause I know a lot of people probably at the time, because everyone did sort of enjoy 89 and stuff, that they're just like, yeah, this is fine. Like, as long as you're giving me something, then this is great. So just scooted down to the last paragraph. See here. Yeah, so he says in a summary, in his 2 Batman movies, Nolan has fed the character to be a canvas for a broader scope of human emotion. For Bruce Wayne is a deeply troubled man, let there be no doubt. And if ever in exile from his heroic role, it would not surprise me what he finds himself capable of doing. So it's like, he got a lot more out of those. I wonder what he would have thought, though, of the Schumacher cut, the Red Book edition. Would he have been happier with that? But
it's, as I've said, it sounds like a better story in some ways, but I don't know if it would stitch into what you get here and make as much sense. I think they've probably edited it down in the only sensible way they can. Like, we need to stick to a tone.
That's one of those things, though, because there's never any... Joel Schumacher almost seems like he was too nice a guy. Like, he's never come out and been like, the studio has screwed me. Like, it seems more like he was very amicable to changes. Yeah. And he was like... I know he did approach them when The Dark Knight came out, when they were doing the big DVD re-release, and was like, can I put these changes back in? And they were like, no. And he's like, okay. So that would indicate that he was maybe wanting to fix the movie or whatever. But
yeah,
at the same time, he went and made Batman and Robin after, which was just more of like, it was further in the direction away from the Red Book stuff. So it's hard to tell whether it was him as just been like a job's worth, kind of like, well, I'll do whatever you want, or whether he actually was like, no, this is what it should be. So
no, I think it's the former. I think it's kind of just like, well, you know, I'm doing a Batman movie. That's fun. This is the way they want it. Okay, whatever.
Yeah,
I'll give the studio what they're asking for.
Oh, well, you know, find it hard to speak ill of Joel Schumacher. It's one of those. He seems like such. Even before he died, it was always. He seems like such a nice guy, though. Like, I don't want to dump on this fella. So,
well, he clearly had a way with people.
All 200,000 of them. But yeah, that is Batman Forever, folks. Don't know if you any
quite a journey, hasn't it?
I don't know if you any parting thoughts you want to throw out at John, or have you kind of said everything you wanted to say about it?
Well, it's probably going to be reiterating, but let's have John's final thought. Yes, I think I'm Jerry Springer now all of a sudden. No, I had a really good time. Like, I remember it being fun, even though I didn't remember, particularly watching it loads and loads. I remembered enjoying it. But doing it like this has made me enjoy lots of aspects that I hadn't even considered before. Like in the past with Nox and stuff, I've now come around to Chase Meridian.
Yeah.
Like, I like the character. I like seeing her. Her scenes are great. And the only things I can think is there anything I hated? I suppose mostly just like missed opportunities. Because the cast is good. Making it lighter in tone is fine. Like, I get that move. But something about it just doesn't come together properly, does it? Like, the next one should really have been the film for Schumacher to solidify what works in this one and make a really great movie. But, yeah, that doesn't quite happen.
No. I think this happens to me every season where I'm like, I wonder if I'll change my tone by the end of this. But, like, I've always come to the last episode and like, so what I was saying at the beginning about my opinion of the film still
was
stands.
Right.
So it's like, yeah, I still really, really love this. It's still very wrapped up in nostalgia. But it's still like, it's disappointing, and there's obviously a lot of different things in there. Like, oh, you could have done this and you could have done that. But like, and watching back, I'm still like, I love this, love the sets, I love the designs. I just love so much of it I really, really enjoy. There's only a couple of scenes that grate on me where it's like, it's Jim Carrey been a bit too much. But I never
get
like
that.
And I never cared for the green spandex. Like I always thought that was just a silly outfit. Although now, forget the Paul Dano bit there, if that's who that is in the trailer,
he's in green spandex.
He's basically wearing a green puffer jacket, but he looks like Hush. He's got like his head wrapped in like, I guess they're going for duct tape, but it's like bandages. You know, Hush had his head wrapped in bandages, but this is like his mask is duct tape, but it's got glasses on. But then that also maybe they're doing Hush and they're all keeping it low key, or it's the Court of Owls because there's an owl illusion in the Riddler card. Yeah. That's the thing now. They're going to be post this season, folks. Keep an ear out for Batman because there's going to be a lot more speculation on the Batman as
it's
and when it comes.
Looking forward to it.
But before we go, John, one final time this season, I have a riddle.
Oh no!
Yeah.
Damn it! No.
This one I think you find is appropriate though, because I want you to see if you can riddle me this. I cannot be burned by fire or drowned in water. You can't see me when it's hot, but you can when it's colder. What am I?
Read it again.
I cannot be burned by fire or drowned in water. You can't see me when it's hot, but you can when it's colder.
Oh.
Shall I tell you the answer?
All I can think about is like breath, but it's not that.
The answer, John, is ice.
Oh!
Setting us up for next season.
Oh, I am going to have to toss a coin for myself now, not to The Witcher.
Or something now, though, if you die, and then it's just going to be me next year. Like, okay, so it's a one-man Batman and Robin show. And
right, Niall, I'm going to put this on you. You can pick heads or tails for me.
Oh. I'll go tails never fails, as they say.
Okay, let's rock. Let's rock. I'm not going to cheat. Tails, yes!
Woo!
Oh, thank God. I was not looking forward to that. And in doing the toying toss, I can't even speak now.
That's what I do every time. Toss. Every time. Even there's times now I find I hear people saying coin toss. I think in my head they mean toin toss.
Toin toss. Oh my word! In doing that, I looked up because I'd left the minute paused, and there is a typo in the credits.
Oh wow!
Go to second 25, Niall.
Let's see. I have to get up my phone here. Sorry. Second 25.
This is on the fly, people. I have only just seen this in celebrating my survival. Do you want me to point it out?
Yeah, go. Because now I'm under pressure. I'm like, oh my God, I can't do it.
Let me just say it's on the line halfway down that starts with Warner Brothers is.
Warner Brothers is the author of this motion picture for purposes. Oh, yeah. Picture. Yeah.
Picture spell wrong.
Oh my God. This Joel Schumacher coming back from the grave now. You did what?
Oh my God. I can't believe I noticed that. The very last seconds of the podcast, people.
That'd be now you can get traction with this Schumacher cut thing. And just be like, you have to at least fix the goddamn end credit.
People watch it and they're like, hang on, that was exactly the same. It's like, no. The credits are fine now.
That was what Roger Ebert knocked it down a whole star when he saw that.
I can't believe that.
Oh, okay. Sometimes you just, it does happen. Like, I as a proofreader do feel the pressure sometimes, but then I do get very, like, up in arms when I feel like if I'm reading a book and I see a typo, I'm like, these assholes. And then I realize many things I've handed back in are definitely still got things wrong with them. but
at the same time,
human error and all that.
There's been about 1 million different releases of this movie. You think someone would have picked up on it, like, 15 years ago or something, and they'd be like, oh, for the DVD, we'll change that then.
I guess that's just because no one reads the legal red tape. Like no one's checking that. Like it's just
except for me, baby.
It could be that's copy and pasted over from like there's a bunch of movies with that. Like
everything in 1995.
There's people going in like watching Casper. They're watching everything. It's like, oh yeah, this motion picture.
Now I want to comb through and find any more.
All right, we're coming back for another episode next week, folks. This is gonna be
Typo Watch.
But yeah. So that's it for Batman Forever. Again, it doesn't feel like, the end of the season and stuff, because now we got the Patreon and the hiatus and stuff coming up. There'll be still plenty of stuff from us coming out, so
yeah,
you won't be lonely your earlobes won't be lonely too long, people.
And don't worry, I promised Dave Pallas he'd be getting plenty of hiatus content that wasn't on the Patreon. So there you go.
God damn it. Just cough up a buck, you cheap bastard, Dave. Jesus Christ.
I get it. No, his argument was more that he's just so behind on even his regular stuff that adding Patreons to it gets too much for him. I get that. Stuff
to be available in the Patreon feed. So we'll have... We got all our long Halloween the coverage will be coming to an end quite soon. Mm-hmm. The script read that was done of the original Tom Mankiewicz Batman draft for the Movies by Minutes at Home Festival. That'll be up in the Patreon if you missed it. And that was a lot of fun to do. We'll have coming up a whole bunch of stuff. We got a Beetlejuice commentary on there. We got friggin'...
We could do more commentaries as well, maybe.
Oh, yeah.
Exciting stuff. Exciting. But for now, one more time, we will depart into the dark, dark night. For now, for an extended period. But don't worry, we will be back. In the meantime, as usual, come and speak to us on Facebook at the Batminute Listeners Cave, Twitter at Batminute, Instagram, The Batminute. Check out the Patreon, as Niall said. What else we got? We got TeePublic. Come and buy some merch. You can get a cool t-shirt off the logo. There's a few others, but the logo is the creme de la creme. The logo is what you want, people. Buy the other stuff too. Right? Don't get me wrong. You want that logo. You want it on a mug.
Now a bit more time as well. A lot of t-shirt ideas that I've been meaning to get around to that I might finally crack on and try to get done. So
I have a big list of them, but at the same time, it's like, I can't say to Niall, here, draw this. It's rude. Niall, draw this damn thing.
No, we send them over, and I'll be like, I like this idea, I like that idea. And then just
I feel rude giving you more work to do.
Again, now once I'm not having to edit all the stuff, then I should have more free time in theory. So I should be able to sit and do that kind of stuff.
Well, that's that, everybody. We were... No, hang on, I'm going to do that again. We were Batminute forever.
Next time, a freeze is coming. The bat swaps his face again, but keeps his budding bird, as a new threat looms in the shape of an Austrian iceberg. But while it may seem that a franchise sausage fest is about to get started, could a clueless starlet aid the Cape Crusaders against the kernel of gold and the bane of a blossoming botanical harlot? It's out of the frying pan and into the oven, but the heat will be turned down next season for Batminute and Robin. We'll be back. Ba-da-da, ba-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da.